Hello, and welcome, my friends, to the next video in the Create Better Content series where I show you how to tap into your creativity so that you never run out of content ideas again. My name is Penny, and I am your guide through this unique creative content development process, and I want to teach you how to create more engaging content to post, more remarkable content that you want to share in your email messages, and incredible content that you want to put on your sales pages to help you reach more qualified customers online. And if you want to learn more about creativity and how this can help you develop your content marketing plans, I would love to see you hit that button below and subscribe to this channel. And below in the description box, you're also going to see a couple of links. The first link that you'll see is from my book called I Just Did a Thing, and I go into more detail about the science behind why I'm always talking about tapping into your creativity and why this is so important with your content creation. And the second link that you will see is your personal invitation to subscribe to the Create Your Business program so you can go through the process of developing remarkable content and experiencing the creative activities to understand what it's like to really tap into your creativity. So today's video, I want to take you through a question, a phrase, a thing that I've seen like, 1,000 times online, where people talk about how I'm going to show you how to create 1 month of content in an hour. And you're like, huh? That's not possible. Let me tell you, my friends, it is. So I'm going to take you through the steps to start developing your content strategy. And I'm going to show you that yes, you really can create a month's worth of content in an hour. So for those of you who are struggling to come up with a month's worth of content ideas, maybe you think it's just writer's block, or you feel like, I don't know, I've just written on this topic and I've talked about this topic so many times, I don't even know what I'm supposed to be saying anymore. And I get it. It's like so tough to even think about what to write next. So how are you supposed to think about what you're going to be creating for the whole month? Now, you're probably asking, if I can't even figure out what I need to create for my social media post on Facebook today, how do you think I'm going to actually do a whole month's worth of content ideas? Look, I am telling you, and I'm about to give you the secret to get this done, because it is possible. And you can accomplish this all in at least an hour, if not less time. So the secret to getting this done, and the really important thing that you're going to be focused on, especially when it comes to planning your content, is answering this one important question. What kind of transformation do you want your customers to experience when they're engaging with your content? That was so important. I'm going to repeat it again. What kind of transformation do you want your customers to experience when they're engaging with your content? So if you think about it from this perspective, you think about it as like an end goal, right? So let's look at it from this way. Let me give you a couple of examples here. So maybe, let's say you're a food blogger, and maybe what your end goal is, my transformation is I want to help busy parents to learn how to, cook some home cooked meals every single week. That is the transformation, because they're super busy, and I'm a food blogger, so it makes sense for me to talking about how to help busy parents start serving home cooked meals every week. Another example I could use, let's say you're a marketing consultant like me, and you're trying to develop consistent marketing videos, and you want to teach small business owners how to tap into your creativity. So my goal is to make sure that I understand about how to teach you how to create content by tapping into your creativity. So this is the transformation that I am bringing you through. The food blogger is bringing you through the transformation of helping you as a busy mom or dad to serve home-cooked meals. So you see what I mean about creating a transformation with your content? It's about understanding that once you know where you want to take the listeners of the videos, or the people in your social media community, the people who are following your Facebook page, understanding where you want to take them to every single month is the key to this. Because when you know that answer to that one question, the whole idea of planning out a month's worth of content is actually a whole lot easier than you think it's going to be. Because what you're going to do is you just work backwards from the end goal of your content to give your community the steps and the process that they need to do about the thing you want them to do. So let's go back to the idea of the food blogger. So if the food blogger is trying to get you to understand how to create, to actually, what's the word I'm looking for? To serve, that's the word I'm looking for, to start serving home cooked meals every single week, you'll have to think about it. What is the recipes that I'm going to share with them? What is something that's going to be simple for them to do? Something that they could put together? Will I need to share some content with them to understand how to meal plan? Is that, the thing? How to go to the grocery store and be more productive with your time to make sure that you do have the ingredients at home with you so you can have home cooked meals that are healthy for your family. So do you see what I mean? That there was pieces and parts that needed to come into place for me to actually have that end goal of helping busy parents start serving home cooked meals every single week. So it's the same thing like with what you're working on too. So I want you to think about the steps and the process that's going to get you to that end goal of the transformation that you are trying to help your customers go through by engaging with your content. So how do you even start this process? How do you get going? So once you get that end goal in mind about what is that transformation that you're trying to do, the first thing that you'll do is you're going to start using a content tool called content buckets. Content buckets are actually categories. Some people call them themes for the month, topics. It's basically the way that you are going to set up every single month. And so the month is the transformation. So going back to our food blogger, I'm probably just going to use the food blogger as my example throughout the whole video today. So if we look at the food blogger, and my transformation is to get them to start serving healthy meals, home cooked meals as a busy parents, I have to think about what my categories are. I have already kind of touched on a couple of them. How to shop better, easier recipes that'll be, if you're really tired at the end of the day, you don't want something that's going to take you 3 hours to cook. You want something that's going to maybe, you can do in 30 minutes. Is there a way that I can help you with prep time? Like something you can do over the weekend and put it in little containers and stick it in your freezer. So then when you come home, all you do is pop it in the oven. Those are the kind of things that would fall under those categories and the topics and the themes that you're going to do. So what you're going to do is you're going to think about these categories and topics that resonate with your targets, resonate who the people who are engaging with your content are. And you want to have at least 4 to 6, not 46, 4, 5, 6, 4 to 6 content buckets that you're going to use for your content creation. And I get it. If you've never done content buckets before, this could be one of the hardest parts. But when you get this set up, it will make everything flow. And I know that this is so, this is that piece that I think that a lot of content creators seem to be missing. And I really think that that's the case because there's a reason why there's so many social media accounts out there, especially those that are belonging to small businesses like ours, and they have low engagement because they're just posting to post. They're just talking and they don't really have anything to say. They're just going through the motions because they're reacting. They're reacting to the point of, oh my goodness, I got to get my Facebook post up. Oh my God, I needed to post something. I haven't done anything for 3 days on Instagram. I need to put this up there. So they're just going through the motions instead of having this plan in place and having a plan in place with a end goal, with a destination in mind. So there's all this planning that comes from, and I want to give you some good examples. Let me dig into this because I know I was talking about the food blogger, but I am talking to people with all different kinds of businesses, not just food bloggers. So if we think about content buckets, they could fall under any of these kinds of categories, and I'm going to give you several ideas just to get you started. Maybe some of the categories could be tips and lessons about how you can help the people in your community. Um, Categories like behind the scenes, where you work, how you work, or who works with you. Everybody loves those behind the scenes kind of thing. And it always helps to have people have a greater understanding of the work that you do and how it can help them. Plus, it's very entertaining. You could have a content bucket called resources. You could share things about that's going on in your industry that maybe your customers are not even seeing on their own. So it's not just resources of information, but it's also helpful for them to make their decisions about what they want to buy and when they want to buy it and where they want to buy it and who they want to buy it from. Obviously, of course, one of the best content buckets are pain points. Pain points, struggles, challenges that our customers are having. How can you share something that's relatable to them that they could say, oh my goodness, I see me into it, and they would want to engage even more in your content. FAQs, frequently asked questions. That's a great source of content for you with your content buckets. Answering questions about your products, services, what's going on in your industry, things that people are always wanting to know. That's a really good thing that you could have as one of your top content buckets. Two other content buckets here are like motivation, inspiration, having those inspirational quotes, things like that. People love that kind of that type of content, and they're very much engaging with that, especially because they don't feel like you're trying to sell them with a hard sell at that point. And then there's always things like fun posts. I call them entertainment too. Memes, talking about where you live. And depending if you are the face of the business, you might even be sharing some of your personal stories, depending upon how far you want to dig into your own personal life. So if we think about it from this perspective, and to plan out this month of content ideas, you're going to need to have these categories. You're going to need to have 4 to 6 of these content buckets. And what you're going to do is you're going to think about it from the perspective of how you can turn them into, I don't want to say a series, but something that you could duplicate every single week. Like maybe you have Motivation Monday or Friday Fun Day, or something like that. But basically, when you set up your weekly layout and your content calendar, that your content ideas kind of build themselves. And if you know every single Monday that you're doing Monday Motivation, then it allows you to understand that this is the content that's happening here for Monday Motivation. And maybe Monday Motivation for our food blogger example could be somebody who's, understanding how over the weekend, this is how we could get ourselves together to be more productive for our week. We could do all these things. We could help us, chop up the vegetables, chop up this, and how to put other containers in there. So the whole thing could be about, what you're going to do this weekend. So I'm going to motivate you today, that kind of stuff. So we want to think about it from that perspective. But then every Monday it could be some kind of motivation. So going into every single week, Monday is motivation. Tuesday is this. Wednesday is this. Thursday is this. Basically when you set up your weekly layout like this, the content ideas are a lot easier for you to come to, because when you're thinking about Monday motivation, you're very focused on what is going on with my content, what's going on with this transformation that I'm talking about this month that would fit into the Monday motivation. And so when you do this, it really adds to the complexity and really adds to the richness of your entire content calendar that you're working on. If you do all the days together at once, it helps you build out your content calendar, and it really, really helps you build it all in. So when we're thinking about all this, let's talk about this content calendar too, because the content calendar is really super, super important. And you want to make sure that before I get into the whole content calendar and how to set this thing up, I really want to talk about using a content calendar that works for you. And I'm very clear whenever I talk to people, especially when I work with my clients, I always say, there's no right way, there's no wrong way, there's just your way. So if you are a digital person, by all means, use an app, use a program that you can use on your computer that you can also pull up in your app. If you're a person who likes to use things by hand, go down to print, go find something on Pinterest that you can download and create something, and put it into a 3-ring binder that you can keep by your desk. Whatever it is, based upon how you work. And it's super important to know that too, because if I try to tell you that you have to download a printable on Pinterest and you're a person who would much rather do everything on your phone, you are going to find every excuse under the sun not to get it done, because that's not how you work. So the idea isn't here to mimic what I do, or for me to tell you, use this program, do it this way, do this step this way. Remember, there's no right way, there's no wrong way, there's just your way. So the idea is to make sure that you set up your content calendar the way that you work, so that you can be consistent with it and you can stick with it, because there are no excuses that if I can set up a content calendar the way that I work, there are no more excuses anymore. So let's move through this. So let's talk about this content calendar. We're going to fill in it's like a content matrix, for lack of a better word. When we look at the content calendar, because we've got a calendar with little squares, and it's like a matrix. So what you're going to do is you're going to immediately just sit down, and the first thing you're going to do is just take your content buckets and use those topics. And if there's everything's on Monday, on Motivation Monday or Fun Day Friday, we're going to fill in the squares on the calendar, whether they're digital or by hand, however you do this. And so you're going to fill in the content matrix, and you're going to fill in all of it. You're going to fill in all of the days. If you work on if you're posting on the weekends, it's going to be, all 31 days. If you're just posting Monday through Friday, then you're going to be doing it Monday through Friday. But you're going to fill the whole thing in. And I want you to do it without judging your ideas, without second guessing your ideas. Because the goal when you first do this, and if you're trying to do this under an hour, it's not that it has to be perfect. You just want to make sure that all of the squares, all of the spaces of the calendar are filled in. And when you get it all done, the next step is leave it alone. Walk away from it and come back to it, maybe a few hours later, or sometimes it's like a couple of days later. Because what's going to happen is this. You are going to think about what's working in that content calendar. When you start walking away, this is that piece that I always talk about, and when you walk away and you do something, I always recommend that you don't just ignore what you've just done, what you've just spent all that time writing out and filling in the squares, and you just like, okay, it's done, I'm done, I walk away. I want you to spend a little bit of time and maybe do something creative with your time. Maybe go for a walk. Maybe, go do something in your kitchen and cook, or maybe sit out in your garden. Do something when you're not actually at your desk, utilizing that left analytical brain, but utilizing that right side of your brain. Because what's going to happen is you're going to start thinking about, this is the transformation. So if my goal is, as a food blogger, I'm going to try to find ways to help busy parents serve home cooked meals every single week. And if I'm thinking about all of my content ideas, when you take that time away after you filled in all of the squares, things are going to start popping in. You're going to start expanding upon an idea. You're going to start thinking about a video. You're going to start thinking about maybe a blog post that you want to write, or a social media series, or maybe what if I did a whole series of videos on TikTok. And it's going to help you define and give you more details about these content ideas that you put down in your little content calendar matrix. And what's going to happen is when you take that time away and you spend it, especially if you're not sitting at your desk, still working and focusing on left brain activities, but when you open up that brain and you move into that right brain side of your brain, you're going to learn. And at that point, you're going to be thinking so much about it, it's going to come to you, and you're going to go, well, you know what? I think this idea kind of sucked, but I think I got an idea about how to fix it. And you'll probably even come up with an idea of not just how to fix it, but what to replace it with. So the idea here is to make sure that you've got these content buckets in place, understanding the categories, but also going into every single month, Knowing what is your end goal, what is the transformation that you are trying to take your customers through by engaging with your content. And when we move through this process like that, you can, my friend, actually create your entire content plan in an hour. Because the purpose of doing this, the purpose of doing it with these steps, is to take action. I'm not just telling you to brainstorm all these amazing ideas and then, I don't know, they're just going to sit in a Google Doc or something. I want you to take action, and I want you to implement your ideas. I want you to start sharing these marketing messages with your community. And trust me when I say that when you know what your content buckets are, and when you know what that end goal is, that transformation that your content is going to take your customers through, it really will just take you an hour to plan out your content ideas for a full month. So thank you so much for joining me today with this creative process. If you've enjoyed this content about creativity, I hope you'll consider subscribing to this channel. And if you are ready to do the deep work of developing your content marketing strategy, the link is below so that you can personally subscribe to the Create Your Business program. And when your monthly interactive workbook shows up in your inbox and the creative tools show up at your front door, you are going to learn a way to develop your content marketing plans that no one else is using, so that you can sell more, you can do more, and you can reach more people online. You are magnificent, my friend, and let me be the first to say, I'm proud of you. Until next time.